Why is it that so many conscious entrepreneurs struggle the challenges of spirituality and entrepreneurship? Hi, everyone. Here, Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer, with another episode of the Rapid Subconscious Rewiring Community or the Mind Engineer Community. Thank you for being here. Let me change here the screen a second so you can see me. Let's see if this works. There we go. So let's talk a little bit about spirituality, consciousness, conscious entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, right? As I was saying before, I'm going to share something that is my experience, at least in these 28 years as an entrepreneur. And for the last 16 years, learning about spirituality and becoming more conscious, more aware, more spiritual, right? And working in entrepreneurship, combining both. And then, of course, also working with hundreds of entrepreneurs around the world, talking to thousands of entrepreneurs around the world, I've seen certain patterns over and over again that are holding back most entrepreneurs that are into spirituality and things like that. So one of the main things that I see over and over again is that they're stuck with getting out there. They're stuck being able to communicate what they do, sell in a way what they do, right? And if you think about it, like, why is it that they're struggling to be able to offer what they're doing, right? Because the truth is they might have some great services, products, things like that, but they're struggling to get out there. One of the main things that I've seen is that although people might be more conscious in the spiritual world, is that they still lack at a very deep level the self-confidence, the self-esteem, the enough self-esteem to be able to get out there. It has to do with their self-image. Although, again, they are in the spiritual practice and they believe that they're much more than this physical being that they are, right? Deep down, they still have narratives that hold them back from getting out there. So they might be scared of, being judged, being rejected, being criticized, being told that what they're doing is wrong or that it's not good enough or something like that, right? So a lot of people out there in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world, right, and people that are conscious are also struggling with building their business. First, their self-image, the narratives that they're telling themselves at a subconscious level. Most of the times, they're not even aware of those stories they're telling themselves that are holding them back. That's the first thing that I've seen over and over again. So as I always share, I would recommend that people start, connecting with their inner wisdom, connecting with themselves, and understanding what are the narratives that they might have around themselves, around success, around failure, around, whatever it is, because normally what you're going to see is the byproduct, the surface level problems that most people deal with, that it could be overwhelming. You could be feeling stress or anxiety. You could be going through procrastination. And now people think that that is a problem for most entrepreneurs, and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do that is the end product of what's going on deeper. So if I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, I'm going to start triggering an emotion that could be, fear. Fear is going to trigger the behavior to reduce the fear, to stop, the I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, the story, by not doing. So I start procrastinating, and I normally call it undercover procrastination, because most entrepreneurs don't even realize they're procrastinating. Instead of doing what they need to do, they're doing something different. I'm going to give you an example. They might spend hours, days, weeks, or even months working on their website, working on perfecting their messaging, working on perfecting their, the I help, whatever, perfecting their, what's the name, the avatar. And they lose a lot of time doing that, and they're still not talking to people. They're not still getting out there. So what I normally teach most entrepreneurs that I'm working with is that they need to start getting out there, start talking to people. And as they do that, as they start talking to, women in their 40s, men in their 30s, men in their 40s, men in their 50s, men unemployed, men executives, men blah, right? As you start talking to different type of people, suddenly you start realize who you really feel more comfortable with. And from there, you can start checking who you want to serve, right? So for each specific area that you might be stuck perfecting your message, hitting the right avatar, things like that, you're actually lying to yourself, telling yourself that you need to do that first before you get out there. And it's like putting the cart before the horse. And that is not working for most people, unfortunately. So, what is happening in spirituality and entrepreneurship is that they have these limiting negative and false beliefs that anybody else also has. But what is added to the spiritual, what I believe in spirituality and entrepreneurship, is that spiritual people that are more awakened, that are more conscious, let's put it that way, doesn't mean awakened like the Buddha, but they're in that journey of awakening, let's put it that way. Their soul is going to guide them through the challenges, through the things they need to go through. Most of the people that are awakening, it means that you're letting the soul guide you more than the human side. That means that you might not be eligible to make $1 million, to make $10 million, to become this person that you think you should become. Because many times you're trying to make $1 million, you're trying to become this person through ego, not through spirit, not through soul. So another of the biggest things that I see, apart from the self-image that some spiritual entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs have that they're not even aware of. Now they think because they're spiritual, now they can do whatever they want and they can feel good about themselves. It doesn't happen, because if you look at their actions, they're not actually getting out there. So we need to understand that your soul has a purpose for you, and it might not be the one that you have in the human side. So when we understand this, it makes it easier to understand that if you're going somewhere and it's not happening, yeah, you might be needing to keep swimming, or you might be needing to check what is the intention behind it. What is the intention of making $1 million? Because I have seen this in people that I work with. Oh, Tommy, I want to make $1 million because I want to make a difference in the world. I'm going to invest that money. I'm going to start helping people for free. I'm going to donate, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Okay. And what happens if you don't make it? How are you going to feel if you don't make $1 million? And most people that I work with, when they become very, very honest with themselves, they tell me, oh, Tommy, if I don't make $1 million, I'm going to feel like I'm a failure, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not fulfilling my purpose. Okay, there you go. That's what I tell them. There you go. Those other narratives that you're trying to cover up with making $1 million, creating a big impact in the world, being able to serve thousands of people a year, or getting in front of blah, whatever your mission, your purpose you think it is on the outside, most of the times it might be coming from ego, not from soul. So when we start understanding that soul, as we become more spiritual, as we become more conscious, more awakened, soul is starting to grab the reins and the wheel and start driving, because it's trying to take us to our highest, path, to our highest potential, to our highest purpose. And that thing might have nothing to do with what you think from the ego. And now people tell me, okay, how do I know when it's ego and when it's not? It's not easy, but the idea is to start practicing. How can I practice this? Okay, I want, to impact the life of millions. Okay, what happens if I'm not able to impact the life of millions? Oh, I might not feel good enough. I might feel that I don't deserve. I might feel that I'm not, being able to hit my purpose, my mission. I know that's my mission. I need to do that. Many years ago, I thought that my mission was something, and the doors closed as I kept on going, kept on going. I tried everything. The doors closed one against the other, one after the other, because eventually I had to pivot into what I'm doing now. And in the last year, I had another big pivot, because although I've been in spirituality for over 16 years now, and even when I was a teenage, and then I shut down because my environment wasn't helping and I couldn't hold on to those beliefs and be able to keep practicing this, I shut down, and then I opened back again more or less in my 30s. Yes. I've been in spirituality for at least 16 years, but I haven't really been sharing many of the things that I've been learning. So in the last year, I've been starting to incorporate into my practice more and more about spirituality. And I'm going to be doing it more and more because that is my new calling. It's not just about healing and the mind, it's much more than that. Yes, it has to do a lot with the mind, but there's much more than that. So last year around February, I had a session with a woman that I work every now and then, and she really helped me see that I have this new calling in a way that I need to start putting into practice. And things were happening back then where things were getting stuck, where things were not going the way that I wanted, because I had to start pivoting. It was a message from the universe that I needed to start pivoting. So I'm not saying it's easy, but as we keep practicing spirituality, the awakening journey, we're going to find more and more challenges because this awakening journey is putting in kind of, questioning, let's put it that way, it's questioning your entire belief system. It's questioning who you are. And for a lot of people, even to spiritual people, that's a difficult thing. Because although they convince themselves at a conscious level that they are these amazing spiritual beings, that they come from universe, they're an extension of God and all these things, they're not really living by that. It's very easy to get deviated from my true spirit, from my, soul. Why? Because ego, as you become more awakened, ego also progresses. Ego also gets trained into being subtle, into getting in the way. And the perfect example that at least I learned of in the Bible, when Jesus is on the cross and he's being crucified and they're about to kill him, he says, Father, and I don't remember the exact words, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but I think he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? Why have you abandoned me? How could Jesus, right? A person that was able to make somebody that was dead come to life, multiply the loaves of bread, make a person see that was, not being able to see, did all the great things that he did. And he is on the cross dying and he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? Father, why have you abandoned me? If you think about that specific phrase in the Bible, what I believe is that that was his ego taking over. For the last time before he was dead, his ego took over. So I take that as a great teaching that the ego is going to try to get in the way until you get enlightened. In Buddha's journey to enlightenment, Mara, I think it is, the demon, appeared many times where it offered him women, it offered him many things to try to stop him from becoming enlightened. You can check Buddha's story, and if you don't know it, you can look it up. You can even ask if you want ChatGPT or Perplexity. Also, be careful with AI because it can make mistakes. But in Buddha's journey, there was a moment where he's sitting down, meditating to become enlightened, and he was challenged to stop that. Jesus, when he was doing his fasting for 40 days, I think it was in the desert, the demon showed up and told him, if you're the Son of God, why don't you throw yourself into this abyss that was there, and God is going to save you. And Jesus said, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to prove that. Right? So we get temptations. The ego, the demon, that voice in our head is going to try to get in the way. And many times it's going to try to do it through the ego. So the ego is not the enemy. Again, we need to love and accept it to be able to integrate it fully to become the spiritual beings that we're meant to be. But as we are in this journey, the soul is going to bring these challenges your way. So that's why I say that many times the entrepreneur journey for spiritual people, for conscious people, is even more challenging because your soul is going to activate the things that you need to work on to be able to get where you need to get. And that might not be making $1 million. That might not be impacting the lives of millions around the world. It might not be that. It might be impacting a couple of hundred people around you. It might be making enough money to make, life's mean every day. That's it. But making it. A lot of people think that spirituality is about impacting millions, making money or something like that, because you're, again, confusing the ego with spirit. Spirit, soul, the only thing it wants is to be purely who it is meant to be. That is the highest calling for the soul, to be who it's meant to be. Then, yes, it can impact, of course, others. But the biggest thing for the soul is to become one with a higher self, one with God, one with universe. That's it. There's no other calling. When people are trying to sell you this, find your purpose as something that is external, that is ego. That is not spirit. Because spirit wants to just be who it is meant to be. And if that means impacting 1, 2, 3 people, 5 people, for the soul, that's okay. Because the biggest thing we can do in this world is to become who we're meant to be. Because as more people they get closer, or even they become who they're meant to be, they help the masses. As we are all connected as one, it helps others indirectly, or you can call it directly, but not through getting in touch with them, like talking to them, showing up to them, even if they don't know you, even if they've never heard of you. In their mind, they're getting to know you through their soul. Because again, we are all connected. So as more people become one, become who they're meant to be, they're able to allow others, even if they don't interact with them, to help them become who they're truly meant to be. So in the spiritual and entrepreneurship world, it makes it even more challenging, because you're asking the universe to bring your unresolved issues to the surface to finally deal with them. And seriously, it's shocking when I listen to some people talking about, positivity, telling yourself that you're good enough, that you're all this, fake positivity movement that we see even in spiritual people. We're just rejecting the unresolved issues that we have within us. We need to start embracing them. The problem is that a lot of people fall into this fake positivity, or fake, you can manifest whatever you want, from a place of ego. Following somebody that is telling you that you can manifest whatever you want, that is a false prophet. Because you're not supposed to manifest whatever you want, because it might not be aligned with your soul. It might not be aligned with your higher purpose. So how do you know that manifesting blah, whatever that is aligned with your higher purpose? I would rather follow somebody that tells me that they can help me become more of who I am. And that might bring some manifestation into my life, but it's not focusing on manifesting, it's focusing on becoming on who I am, recognizing who I'm not, healing, releasing who I'm not, integrating the parts of me that are in pain, healing, and becoming more of who I am. And then, if it's in God's purpose, if it's in God's will, right, in my higher purpose, in my soul's purpose, in my higher self purpose, whatever you want to call it, to manifest this or that, then let it be. But too many people are focusing on manifesting things to try to cover their unresolved issues. So the best question to ask yourself is, what if I cannot manifest this? What if I cannot, achieve this? What if I blah? How would that make me feel? A part of me, maybe it's a small voice, but a part of me might feel sad. A part of me might feel scared. A part of me might feel frustration. A part of me might feel anger. Okay, why do I feel like this? Oh, because it makes me feel really bad that I cannot impact the lives of millions around the world, maybe. If I cannot have a YouTube channel of 1 million followers, or make X amount of money per month, or have a nicer house, or be able to donate more, whatever. What is going on? What is going on? And the third question that I always guide you through is, how does this make me feel about myself? How does this make me feel about myself. It's going to make me feel I'm not good enough. It's going to make me feel God doesn't care for me, that I'm a failure, that I'm not valuable, that I'm not worthy. So we start diving into the narratives that you're telling yourself, and that the universe and your soul are working together to manifest these things in your life, or not manifest things in your life, to show you exactly what you need to work on. So again, we need to start working on these things to be able to start becoming more who we're meant to be, and from there manifest what is in our best interest from spirit, not from ego. So I know it's hard for a lot of people to deal with these things, because again, it's ego. When it's hard, it's ego. You're fighting back, because from spirit, it should make sense. But from ego, of course not, because ego wants external validation. Ego wants this or wants that to be able to cover the unresolved issues, the negative narratives that have been created many years ago that are running in the subconscious mind. So to become more who we're truly meant, we need to start diving into ourselves, connecting with our inner wisdom, and understanding what's going on. And the third thing that I normally see in entrepreneurs that are conscious, spiritual, in the awakening journey is money. Although they say, oh, it's an exchange of energy, I give you something, so you give me something back, right? That is something that they're using at a conscious level. Because if they're finding it hard to make money, if they're finding it hard to ask for money, and I've seen this in most entrepreneurs, whether they're spiritual or not, it doesn't matter, but mostly in spiritual people, deep down, there are parts of them, mostly if they were raised in family of Catholics, religions, and things like that, that we have been indirectly taught that money is bad. Without saying it, we have been taught that. But if you look at the Vatican, the Pope lives in a place full of gold and really majestic things. How much is valued the richness of church? So money is bad for us, but church can have all the things that they have. Oh yeah, they were donated. Doesn't matter. They have it. They're using it. So a lot of people deep down, they reject money for different reasons. More so when they're spiritual, more so when they're in this conscious awakening journey, they reject money at a deeper level. So if we don't start finding those narratives, understanding where they come from, what was the relationship at home with money, not what I think about money today, because seriously, it doesn't matter what you think about money today. What matters is what you thought about money growing up as a little kid. One of the exercises I tell people is close your eyes, get them to a meditative state, and then I start telling them to imagine themselves as kids in their house, and start imagining how was the relationship with money, with mom, with dad, between both of them, because that started creating the narratives that you might have in the subconscious mind, not what you want to think about money. Most people want to think positive things about money because they were told they have to think positive about money to be able to manifest it. So they're repressing their deep narratives that override whatever you might tell yourself consciously. And it doesn't matter if you repeat it for a year, if you repeat it for 5 months, for 6 months, for 31 days, for 21 days, whatever. The mind has proof of those narratives. So it's not going to just change it because it's supposed to change it. It doesn't work like that. So these are the different reasons, that there might be more, of course, that I'm not covering right now, that is holding back most entrepreneurs in their journey as spiritual entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs, people that practice spirituality or even religion, doesn't matter, but people that are into believing about God, universe, in any way that they believe in, that is going to hold them back because of different things that are with their self-image, as I was saying, talking about spirituality, religion, God, whatever, your soul, you're meant for greatness. Let's talk about religion, let's talk about Christianity. John 14:12, you are meant to do what Jesus did and much more. That's a teaching in the Bible, John 14:12. Jesus was teaching his disciples that they could do what he did and much more. So we're meant for greatness. So to be able to become more who we're meant to be, our soul in combination with the universe is going to bring those challenges our way, not to screw us up, not as a, punishment, to help you become who you are meant to be. So I would recommend you start diving into the mind to recognize the narratives that are getting in the way in different aspects of your life. It could be in your love life. It could be in a job. It could be in a business. It could be with friends. It could be with your family. It could be with whoever. It doesn't matter. But if we don't dive into the mind to find those narratives, it's going to make it very difficult to overcome these challenges easier. Because the only way is to change those narratives, because what we're sending to the universe is I'm not good enough. So the universe is going to play that replay or mirror back that narrative to help you see it, to change it. The other day I was working with a guy that, that person had a successful business, and suddenly the business started crashing and crashing and crashing. And in this case, this person didn't realize the narratives that this person had very deep down. So this person started working with me and started realizing. So I asked this person, if you were having success, having money right now, would you be working with me? And he said, no, I wouldn't be working with you, Tommy, right now. There you go. So your soul directed you, started in a way getting, reducing the amount of clients you were having, the amount of money coming in, for you to start questioning yourself, to get into a dark space, to start working on getting out of there. But if you would have had success, you would have never realized the negative narratives that you had within you. Some people ask, but Tommy, this other person over here that is making millions, do they have a negative narrative? Maybe yes. But in their journey, maybe they're not looking to become a greater version of themselves. Maybe they, from their soul, they're so disconnected that they're just making a lot of money and living the life that they're choosing from their ego. Their ego has taken over so much that they're disconnected from their soul. I don't know the exact story for each person on earth, but that could be a story. That person doesn't want to become a greater version of themselves spiritually, as from the soul. They just want the human side, and they're putting everything on the human side. When we start connecting with soul, we're asking the soul to bring the different things that need to happen to get us where we need to get, not where we think from ego, where we're meant to go. So I'm not saying it's easy. I sometimes struggle too, and I saw my spiritual teacher struggle too in her own ways, right? We're all going through different storms, and those storms are part of our soul's journey, not our ego's journey, our soul's journey. So when we understand these things, it makes it easier to navigate the entrepreneurship journey. That is not an easy one. And on top of that, if you add the spiritual side, it makes it even more challenging. I think that it's still rewarding. I've been doing it for 28 years, 16 years adding the spiritual side, and it has really helped me grow exponentially. I tell people the entrepreneur journey can really help you grow exponentially in your awakening journey, because it's going to bring to the surface your unresolved issues over and over again. Standing in front of a camera, showing yourself to others, speaking, teaching things, whatever it is, that is going to bring your unresolved issues to the surface. So it's a great opportunity. You can take it or leave it. That's up to you, of course. But just to take it with you as a learning experience. And I hope this helped. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live, if you got up to the end. Thank you very much. Hashtag live if you're watching live in the group, in social media. Hashtag replay if you're watching the recording, the replay. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, just put them down here. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about what I said? Does it resonate with you? Share that with me. I would love to hear from you. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.